What's up, you guys? Matt here with Texas Edge Home Inspections. Now, I get asked a lot by buyers and by realtors and by other home inspectors, what is the thing that I write up the most? What's the most written up item on my inspection reports? And I got to tell you, by far, the most notated item on any inspection report, and it's on every inspection report, is items in relation to sealant. Improvements that can happen on the interior and exterior of the property in relation to caulk and sealant. It's on every single report. Now, I'm on a new construction house today, and for the most part, it looks pretty good. The sealant that they're using on the outside is not exactly what I would prefer to use. It's not the ideal sealant, but they have sealed up almost everything. I'm going to show you a couple areas where they missed the mark, so take a look. So if you look around this window here, it almost looks for a second that it's not sealed because they have used this clear silicone type sealant on the exterior here. Now, I much prefer an elastomeric caulking in this area, but nonetheless, they have sealed it up. It's actually pretty good all the way around. You have to look really closely, especially with this clear stuff, to make sure we don't have any gaps, because obviously it looks like we do sometimes because it's clear, but this is actually sealed up pretty nicely. And if you move on down, we have the disconnect for the AC. It's sealed up nice. Even this outlet right here, if you look on top, we got some nice sealant around it. Again, it's clear, so it's a little bit difficult to see sometimes. This is the exhaust for the tankless water heaters, just on the other side of this wall. But you can see we're sealed around really nice. We don't really have any gaps. This is an expansion joint. Now, this is on the smaller scale, but if you look closely, we've got some gaps, like right here, and here, and as you go up, you might see a couple more. This is going on this side of the property as well as on the other side of the property. So why is this important? Well, sealant helps keep moisture and insects and things like that out of your house. Especially moisture, when we're talking about these things, we don't want moisture getting in around the windows, around any of these areas, creeping into the interior walls and causing moisture damage. And of course, any opening in your house is vulnerable for insects. Now, up until this point, they've done pretty good. I did show you that expansion joint that had a couple of holes in it, but right just beyond there is where they've really missed the mark on a couple of things. So let me take you in for a closer look. Okay, so this is where we were just a second ago, and this is where I start to have some problems. This right here is the drain line for the water heater, the temperature and pressure relief line. And as you can see, if you look, there's no sealant around it. And there's actually quite a large gap here at the bottom, and bottom's a particularly vulnerable place for moisture intrusion. And if we move on, this is where all the AC lines run inside the house. You can see the line set going into this metal, or I guess this could be plastic, this type of cover here, which is great, but they have not sealed around it. And this has got large openings here where, obviously moisture is going to come across this way, but very much so could get back over in this area. We've got the same thing going on over here. This is definitely an area that could be subject to insect intrusion as well. So just down a little further on the same wall, I found a couple of other areas that I wanted to show you. And before I move on, I want to emphasize that we as home inspectors, we're here, we're trying to find major items. We're trying to find safety issues, things that are going to cause major damage to your home while you own it. This is not in that category. This is a small item, but it definitely can cause some damage or cause some problems down the line. So these are items that homeowners really do need to look out for as far as maintaining. And also, when you're buying these new construction houses such as this one, we want to make sure the builder gets it as close to perfect as possible before the buyer moves in. Now come in with me and check out these other two items. All right, so when we get over here, we see that they've sealed around the hose bib pretty nicely over here, and this is where the gas enters the home. This is nice and sealed up. But right over here, this is the conduit that houses the wires for the sprinkler system, and you can see it's wide open. This is an area where I oftentimes find moisture intrusion or water staining on the inside of the wall in the garage. So that's definitely an area that needs to get sealed up. This one takes a little closer eye, but if you look, this is the disconnect for the electrical system, and they've sealed down the side of it, but they just didn't quite get a couple of areas, left a couple of areas that are open. And of course, this is an area where water can come down and find its way back behind that box. So like I said, this is the #1 written up thing. On every one of my reports, I have improvements that can be made in the area of sealant. Why is that? It's because there's just so much of it used on the interior and exterior, so there's a whole lot of room for error. Again, this is not a huge item. Typically on the older houses, this is considered a home maintenance item. Homeowners can certainly go through here and do this. In this case, this is a new construction house, and they have gone through here and missed the mark on some of this caulking. And let me tell you, you paid for the caulk. So let's go ahead and notate where these issues are and where the lack of sealant caulking is, and have them go ahead and come out here and improve that for you, because as I said, you paid for it, you might as well get it. Okay guys, Matt with Texas Edge Home Inspections. I have a lot of inspection to do on this house, so I'm going to get after it, but give me a call so I can inspect your next house. Bye now. Hey you guys, thanks for watching. Please feel free to like and share, and if you'd like to see more of my videos, head on over to YouTube and hit subscribe.